continue. This is just, speaking of, all I do is like transfer files. All I do is like move piles. Move piles and transfer files. That's all I do. Fucking like. I'm not gonna do this, but I could do a lot of business with it. Like, I don't know how people do that, but like, well, anyway, I'm going down the stairs. Same with this. I'm like, push the elevator down and up. Anyway, so basically, I was like, should I come in? Like, anyway, no.
I mean, I'm down for anything.
But then I'm like, there's not a lot of room, and I'm like, okay,
squat.
and I'm like, I'd be more like, hi. Why do I feel like this is like? I know it's not cutting me off, but. Yeah, let me know if any of
really close, right?
Yeah, I'm just like, surely I'm being completely hidden by these piles
I
of
had
paper.
to like scoot closer because you were this like tiny little Laurs in the back of the screen.
Yeah, I always feel like I should go full game show host. Like, it's time for another round. I always go full like either has this ever happened to you? As seen on TV, I'm selling a product, I'm solving a problem, or I'm game show host.
You're either game show host Laurs
or teacher or
yeah.
I have a lot of mask work.
Infomercial show game
host,
show host,
game show host,
teacher,
and I'm bad at all of them. So yeah, I don't know if I saw Juki's industrial machines there. I saw Baby Locks, and I have a Bernina home machine. I wish there was another word for that. I don't know why. Like, I get it that it's like a Juki is industrial, it's commercial, but home machine, like, that just doesn't roll off the tongue. And
well, and I've said it to people who aren't sewers who like have it, and they're like, I just have a machine. I'm like,
yeah, but you have to like.
No, but
I guess you could say non-industrial, but that I don't know. There needs to be a word.
Portable. I sometimes say portable.
But that sounds like it's like one of those real little ones.
Like hand crankle.
Yeah, or like one that's like. Do you remember that from the infomercial? It's like a stapler. It's like you get a hem. There's like a woman like sitting down, and she's like.
I had a friend who wanted me to like help her sew with something, and I was like, okay, like if you want to come over, I'll show you how to do it, and we can just do it real quick on my machine. So it's like supposed to be something that's super easy. Yeah. She's like, oh, I have a machine. You can come over and just do it real quick, and then we don't have to. And I was like, okay, great. I showed up. It was one of those. I was like, is this a kid's sewing machine?
This is like an easy bake oven of sewing machines.
And she's like, I thought this was supposed to be quick and easy, and I was like, I'm sorry, but this is hindering me.
Yeah, this is just a stapler. Yeah. I mean, at this point, we might as well just staple it, or like safety pins, or
just go to my house.
Yeah, or get like some tape, some duct tape. That's good enough.
This has now become very difficult.
Yeah, I know. I try not to be judgmental. It's like any industry or any hobby or anything where you just like the ropes, and so you kind of imagine that everyone else does, and when they don't, it's like you're not trying to be a snob. You're just like, oh yeah, I forget that.
A lot of it is also muscle memory. So then when I have this like machine where I'm like, I don't even know how this thing works. And then
it wasn't a stapler one. It was just like a small baby one.
It was like a little mini guy. It was smaller than this, smaller than the serger.
Yeah.
And it like you literally didn't have a pedal.
Oh, it truly was cranking?
And I was like, this is more difficult to use.
Yeah, like this
she didn't know how to use it either, so she's like, I figured you would. I was like, this is a toy.
Yeah.
I don't know how to use it.
This is a Mattel Barbie. Yeah.
She said there was like supposed to be a pedal or something, but maybe it didn't come with that. I don't know, but it really looked like it was like literally that tall and like this wide.
She's doing this,
and I'm like trying to hold.
Yeah.
The thing.
Oh, that's that's impossible. So just like hand sew at that point.
I know. I was like, we could have just come to my place. It would have been
done. Yeah. Anyway, we're snobs, and everyone knows it now. I'm trying to think. Yeah. Oh yeah, and then sort of a bungee cord style. It's hard to sew on though, because it's just I don't know.
So circular.
Yeah, and turgid. What's the word I'm looking for? It's thick. Yeah, like thick and
dense.
Do you ever have like one thing you remembered from school and it's like, but it's not like, mine is turgor pressure in biology. It's when there's a leaf that like it's like say you just watered a plant, and that's when it like not puffs up, but it comes to life, and it's all whatever. And so the reason it kind of does it is like turgor pressure, like the water in the cell kind of is just like engorged.
And something I never.
Anyway, so I know I was like turgor pressure, but everything else went away. That day I was razor sharp. I I don't know. I think about that all the time. Like, why do I remember certain things? And I think usually it has to do with like anxiety or shame of like, oh, I remember that time that I made an ass of myself in school or whatever, and then I remember that.
I'm never gonna forget this.
I know, because then and it's like, I guess that's evolution. That's how you learn and like survive. Yeah. Like as just like in a real animal kingdom type of way. But so I usually remember the shame. I have to stay in the community. I can't be cast out by being too embarrassing.
I'm going to remember this thing about plants forever.
Yeah. He'll be impressed. Speaking of words and our etymology corner, I saw that whenever there is that exact thing I just said, now you have to include it, when you have an inside joke with your family or friends or whatever, and you kind of have your own words for stuff. It's called, I think it's called familect. Like, so instead of dialect, it's familect. So like your family dialect. I maybe I'm wrong, but I think it was familect. And I was like, how interesting. I just think, I think that's really interesting. And a good example of that, if you're into more of like that concept, there is a movie called Poto and Kabingo. I can't remember the exact year. I want to say 70s or 80s. Anyway, I'll just say early 80s. And it's a documentary about two twin girls, and scientists were studying them because they thought they had a twin language that they were developing from a very young age. Like, these kids are just like, they're communicating in these ways, except there's no order to it. They'll have like 19 different words for like potato or something. I don't know. Anyways, and they had, obviously, I can't remember what their names are, but they were calling each other Poto and Kabingo. And I can't remember where this was, like just somewhere in like Middle America. And well, I don't know if it's like a twist, like if I'm spoiling anything, but it turns out they just realized that there were, I don't know if there was something like actual, like a brain development aspect to it, but it was also that they lived with, I think, a Polish grandmother. So they were kind of pulling some of her Polish language and her colloquialisms for the English language, whatever, and misunderstandings and different things. And they're just kind of pulling all these different things. So I was very interesting. So it wasn't what they thought, but it's still kind of interesting in its own way. I don't know if any of that's usable, but I thought it's a good movie.
I always avoid using X-Acto knives because my memory of them is always that they're like always so difficult to use. And then I like get a new blade and I'm like,
I just need to change the blade.
Switch out the blade.
Yeah.
This is actually super easy.
Same with me in like the rotary cutter or I don't know, a kitchen knife, anything. Yeah. Like, if you just like
take care of
your tools, and then you switch out blades and sharpen them and stuff, then actually life is easy. We love to look up the origins of words, etymology. And I think it's interesting because sometimes it is like a whole narrative, and I'm afraid to talk about any of them because I'm sure I'll get them wildly wrong. But I'm trying to think, like the word orange, I know has a really interesting. The most interesting thing about that is you assume there was a color orange because the world exists and there are orange flowers and such. But I guess people thought of it as like red, or like it's just like a different shade of red. Anyways, and that the term orange, or even the idea that was a color that we should have a separate name for, was like because there was a fruit. Wait, let me make sure I have that right. It was the fruit first, and then hey, there's other things with that color that I have. You know what I mean? Here's this new fruit, but there's also these like orange flowers I've always seen, and I didn't give them a separate color name. Anyway, I just thought that was interesting because I thought there's a color, and then they're like, let's start naming fruits and vegetables. So obviously this is orange, and then this is a Dimitri Martin joke, but they get to the carrot and they're like, fuck. Like, I always imagine that there's going to be a day when I am doing run-on sentences, and then your editing is going to be one of those where you fade in, and you kind of fade. I'm still talking, and you fade in me talking. I'm like just trying to show like I had to do this because you wouldn't shut up. There's not a hard cut, It's just like on a montage. I'm like, bah, 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 and and it's like really embarrassing, and like fading in and out, and
like, oh,
she's still telling that story. Okay.
So it will be.
The world will know. That again, I'm probably bastardizing it. How about you talk? Because I keep talking and everyone's bored. I really like white and cream together. It's one of those things that as a kid I was like, you can't do that. You can't mix bright white and cream and kind of like navy and black or brown and black. These rules you're told as a kid in the 90s or whatever. And no, it's like that's what's interesting. I don't know.
You grow up and you figure out, oh, I'm not going to get struck by lightning if I.
Yeah, it's like my entire life's a lie. Everyone's full of shit. I can do whatever I want. Kind of like the white after Labor Day thing. It's like,
oh yeah, I never understood that because also
it's just some country club bullshit, I guess.
I'm like, white after Labor Day, isn't that the whole year? Like the year is
in theory.
Circular.
So
cyclical.
Yeah, it's like so. Then January 1st, technically, you can wear it again. Like, what's the beginning?
What's the
I'm sure it has to do with back in the day. Like, we're gonna kind of like resort collections. Like, this is where you wear on your cruise to the Grecian Isles or whatever.
Right. I'm like, I was never rich enough for that.
It's for rich people, is what it is.
I was never. My mom didn't buy me white clothes.
Yeah. Oh, you didn't have like a full like closet of linen suits and seersucker suits and little boater hats.
I wasn't allowed to own white as a child.
And you had a basket, a bonnet. I don't know.
Everything I had was dirty all the time.
It's like this shirt used to be white. No, I think it's one of those like old white person.
Rules.
Yeah, wasp rules. Yeah, I don't know.
We
it
have
just
a
goes
pool
in.
table at our house.
Oh wow, okay.
I didn't grow up with one, but
I did grow up with one, and you think it would be a little better. I mean, it was just like I just sort of didn't think. You know, when you're just exposed to something, you're like, well, I'm not. You know.
yeah.
I don't know why. Just like, well, no, I'm not going to go in there and like practice.
That's crazy.
And that's crazy. I had a basketball hoop too. I'm like, you think I can play basketball? No. Yeah.
Was it like a neighborhood one, or was it in your like driveway?
Yeah, I'm in the country, so we just had a driveway with like a basketball hoop. I'm assuming you mean the basketball hoop and not the either one. Yeah, yeah, kind of lived in the middle of nowhere, so
yeah. The pool table was in the driveway.
Yeah, it was in the driveway.
Basketball hoop was downstairs.
Yeah, and yeah, so I don't know. I think I'm pretty good. I'm decent at like the angles, like as far as like I mean, maybe that's easy enough to say. I'd be really good at tennis if I could play. Anyway, kind of thing, you know, right? Okay, I think I can like see where I need to hit it. It's just I don't practice enough to know like, okay, I need to hit it with this much. Like I don't have that. I mean, it really is like muscle control or muscle memory or whatever to be like, okay, I need to give it about a 7 out of 10, and then it'll, you know, it's that. It's just more of the actual hitting it. Sorry, the actual pool part. Otherwise, I'm wonderful at pool. I'm a savant.
If I was good at pool, I'd be really good.
Yeah, I'd be like really good at it. More armchair pool player. You're like, I see that angle. Oh, you should have hit it there. Like, so today, when I was just sort of like cleaning the studio, getting ready, I was like, what's a little something I can put on? And so instead of a normal person watching like a, you know, Peacock series or whatever, I'm like, I'm going to put on Liza Minnelli and Goldie Hawn's show that they put on in 1980 on like whatever, I don't know, NBC or whatever. And so it was like a little variety show thing that they did. It was just like an hour long. It was so cute. I mean, it was so campy. It was so like goofy.
What was it?
So it was
Liza Minnelli and Goldie Hawn.
Apparently, I don't know if they're really friends or if this was just like for the show or whatever. But I think it's called Gold. Wait, I was like Golda Meir. Goldie and Liza together. It's from 1980. And I had semi-recently seen the Liza with the Z show whatever, you know, yeah, it was a variety show, I guess, directed by Bob Fosse, and it was on Tubi, I don't know if it still is. Anyway, so I was expecting more like that, where it's just like videotaping or whatever. Keep aging myself. It's just like the show itself, you know what I mean? And we're at the show, and this was more behind the scenes, like, hey, we should put on a show, and like, I was thinking about doing something like this, and then it kind of like has them sort of rehearsing, and then it cuts to the bit. But it was
cute.
It was very, anyways, it was really loose and really campy, and like, I mean, I'll just go ahead and say, I was expecting more, you know, Bob Fosse and like sexy and whatever. And Goldie Hawn, the first bit she does is YMCA with a bunch of hunky dudes. She sings YMCA, and I was like, what year did this come out? I was like, anyway, so 1980.
Wait, that's cute.
It was like really cute and campy and goofy, and like it was a lot of that, but it was fun. Let's see, this is so satisfying. You gotta feel this. It feels like, sorry, but like one of those labradoodle kind of thing.
Whoa.
This is not this is fabric. It's not fur. Sorry, I really am going heavy into like yeah. Yeah, it's really satisfying.
That is like I was not expecting it
to be so soft, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, this is why it's like tricky to film these when you're like, just film me like being stumped.
Staring at a
Yeah.
girl.
Peeling this glue off my fingers is like giving me the same joy of when I used to like. Did you ever put like Elmer's glue all over your hand?
I was gonna say, I think we went over. See, it's hard to know if edited into the video. I think I talked about that.
Or we would,
But I did love that desk.
We'd color our desks with marker.
Yeah.
Like the desks that were like metal underneath with the open top.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And some of them weren't the open top; they were like just like the under.
Mm-hmm.
You shove stuff in the
Yeah.
metal bin essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And there was like a little divot where you could like put your like pens and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And we would take markers and we'd color on the desk. And then we'd just pour a boat of glue in that, and then you could peel it off the next morning and it would have taken the marker off the desk.
Weird.
But we ended up getting in trouble for that.
Of course.
Teachers were like, stop drawing on the desks and then leaving
If you
pools of glue in the desk.
Well, if you can peel it all
Which,
off,
like,
whatever.
fair,
They just have to
but-
yell at you for something.
Yeah, I mean, of course, then I was like, that's not fair, but
Yeah.
I get it if like a teacher's trying to like set stuff up and she reaches in your desk
And there's just like weird
glue.
glue. I guess. Oh my god. Actually, this is nothing, but there is a Dick Van Dyke episode where Laura. Sorry, I'm really aging myself. I love Nick at Night.
I grew up watching that show.
Okay,
We have
like-
it on DVD.
No, it was Rob. It was Dick Van Dyke, and he was like, they were about to go to like some truly like a vacation, a concert, whatever. Maybe the Catskills. I don't know. The Poconos.
Mhm.
And I think he was like, oh, she's dyeing something on the stove. And he like she's like, oh, can you swish it around? She meant with a stick. And he goes and looked at his hands. Anyways, his hands are fully like dyed. And I think they have to come up with some thing like
Quirky way.
basically give him like gloves, which I guess for a man in the 60s, you're not wearing a lot of gloves. Okay, here's another thing. I was like, this side, it really did not actually that looks a little it's like cookies and
That looks
cream.
kind of cool.
It's like cookies and cream.
actually.
I'm not saying it'll work for this, but okay. I'm not gonna worry about that.
No, I
side.
grew up watching on
This is-
DVD. We had like a little pack of the Andy
Sure,
Griffith
something.
show, the
Mhm.
Mary Tyler Moore show, and the Dick Van Dyke show.
Yeah.
And I grew up watching that, and Little House on the Prairie.
And I watched it. Yeah, it was on Nick at Night when I was a kid, and
Yeah.
I don't know anything
Like,
about
I watched it in real.
in real time in the 60s, pretty much.
Whew. Okay.
Yeah, great, whatever.
I was like, phone's about to die. We're at 6%.
I know. Okay. I was like, James, I was like, we're done in 5. I want pasta. I love you. Like in that order.